Welcome all to the weekly outlook. Bernie here from EWPRO, getting straight into the weekly outlook, starting with the DXY on the daily. I'm still looking for this C down, ideally, or we just get a correction in here and then we can buy on the daily. On the H4, we can still get another one up here. Just waiting for this time factor. I do have it as an ABC, but we got up past this 123.6. So very similar to last week. I'm looking at this to turn a little. This can turn a little bit more complex. Like I said last week, it can be an A, B, C, and then we get an A, B, C before we get the wave Z up. It's starting to play around in here now, so it can get even more complex now. This can be like an A, B, C, A, B, C before we get the Z up. On the H1, there really isn't much to trade at all, and there really isn't a direction, so it's going to be very difficult to trade. It's really just scalping. Like, you know, you could look for a one up here, but you definitely want to be at break even at the break of that top, because it may not come and break that top. I dare say a larger correction is forming in here on the H4. AU on the daily, nothing's changed on the daily on the AU either. I'm only looking to buy for this wave C up. Like I've mentioned many times, it can come down to this 100 pip, and it can even break this low in the B wave. So I'm just waiting for buy setups on the H4. We got the 5 down. We got that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. Then we got an A, B, C in here, bounce clean off that 100 pip. It did come down and break this low here, so that's fine. I'm just waiting for a buy setup, and it's not giving us that buy setup at this stage. We do have interest rates, well, the cash rate coming out on with the RBA, and I dare say they might lift the rate, so be careful with shorts. This can become more complex too, because we got that that B wave there, like I said last week. That was very choppy coming up here, and you know, if this was the end of the move, it wouldn't be so choppy. It did come down. It hadn't quite broken this low here, I don't think. So this can become more complex as well. Really, there isn't much on it to trade. Ideally, it comes down, breaks a low, and then gives us a nice impulse, and then we can at least trade a C up for an A, B, C. And, you know, if we do get a setup, you know, it may take off. But ideally, you know, it should at least get a C for a flat for possibly more downside, or it does take off. And GU on the daily. This is very similar to last. Well, nothing's changed on the daily. This can we either get a correction in here for another one down for like an A, B, C, or this does go up and break the top as some sort of a larger flat. I don't really like it as that larger flat, but it is possible. I definitely can't rule it out totally. So we really got to see what's happening in here. You know, after this move here is over, you know, whether it gives us a correction or it's impulsive and gives us a buy setup. So it's really a wait and see game at this stage. You're really only scalping at this stage. On the H4, we got that WX white looking for an X2 and a Z down. Very similar to last week. Well, I think it's exactly what I was looking for last week. We do have like 1, 2, 3. I thought it might come down a little bit more and then give it a C up. But I think this is just correction for another one down. I can't see this as a reversal. We lost the bullish divergence in here. So on the H1, again, like AU, and there's really nothing to trade. It could go either way. Oops, I'll just put that as a line. So it really can go either way. I mean, it's bullish now. Like this is starting to be bullish. I mean, this can keep on coming down right for a long time. That's why it's going to be dangerous. But we already have some sort of A, B, C in here. We got the bullish divergence, but it hasn't gone. So that's why it becomes very dangerous to trade at this stage. There's really nothing on it. To buy, you know, if you're buying, you have to be a break even above there, because it can be just an A, B, C, and then give you a larger A, B, C before you get an A, B, C to finish off that X2 on the H4 before you get another one down. So yeah, next week is going to be quite difficult trading, I think. EU on the daily, nothing's changed on this either on the daily. You know, still looking. I'm just looking for buys to buy this C up. Just waiting for the buy setups on the lower time frames. We just aren't getting that yet. It's, the H4 is very similar to the others. You know, this can be a larger flat here, like an A, B, C. Then you get the A, B, C as a larger correction before we get another one down to finish off this daily B wave. I'm not convinced it's over on the H4, the low. I'm not convinced that this is the low with the price action that we're seeing. The H1 again, there really isn't much at all. It's very, it's not real clear. We got this A, B, C here. So if we're looking for an A, B, look for that top to be broken, but it only really needs to break this top here, and it's already done that. So it becomes very risky, this, because this section in here isn't impulsive, and really not much of this is. I am looking at a flat in here as like an A, B, C. Yeah, and I wouldn't be going selling at a low. We're at a low, so without a large correction, you can only sell after a correction, and you know we don't have a correction here yet. You know, for a sell, you really want to see the daily be corrective in here and not give that C up, and then you could look for a sell, very similar to GU. But yeah, I am looking at this flat here, so I am only looking for buys, but at this stage it just isn't giving me the buy setups. And new on the daily, I'm looking at that this A, B, and looking for that C up. Like I mentioned last few weeks, you know, this is looking very corrective, and we have finally come down, broken that low. We are starting to get bullish divergence, so that's what we were looking for last week. We're looking for this to come and break that low as a complex correction when I go down to the lower time frames. So this low is broken now, so we're coming from a fresh low. So any buy setup you get on the lower time frames we can definitely look to buy. The H1, we do have that bullish divergence here now, so definitely look for buys. This, I doubt if it's going to go from here. This move here, this impulse here, and we got a very deep correction. So it may just be an A, B, C in here, get another one down. So you have to be careful buying, because it can be a correction because of what the price action's doing, giving us that deep correction after the impulse. GY, on the daily, we're looking at that WX extended wave Y. We'll be looking for an X2 and then a Z up. In here we've got a WXY, X2 and a possible Z up here for the internal wave Y, and then we'll be looking for the larger correction. Page 4, we are looking for buys. You can see that I was looking for a flat in here. It didn't go. It's become more choppy in here again. So again, this is going to be a very difficult week to trade, because there's nothing concrete on the higher time frames to trade in the direction. So we're only looking for buys for that Z up, internal Z up on the daily, but it's not giving a nice structure to buy. This can become quite complex now, because this is looking like a B wave, so it can be some sort of an A, B, C in here before it goes. It's just not giving us the right setups at this stage. On the H1, again, there's really not much at all. We had a nice impulse up in here. I was just looking for a correction to buy. Instead, it come very deep to this impulse. So it's more likely just an A, B, C, and then we get some sort of a B, C. It can become very complex in here. I don't think it's ready to go. It's very choppy. So again, you're going to have to be very careful trading next week, I believe. UY on the daily, you can see what I'm looking at. Nothing's changed on this. I'm only looking to trade. I'm looking for a sell for that C down. And either way, even if this C doesn't go, we still would be looking for at least a correction. So we're still trading within a correct. We would be, if we're looking for the short, we're either looking for that impulse down or a correction. So you should be able to get break even if you're only looking for shorts, and I am only looking for shorts. I'm definitely not looking for buys up here. On the H4, there is a possible another one up. We got that impulse down, looking at this as a B wave, and we get a C down in here and then another one up. Again, the price action suggesting that this is just going to be a regular flat at this stage, because this top here hadn't been broken yet. It may turn into a running or expanding flat if this top here gets broken, but I dare say this is just the correction for one more up. So you could look for a buy, just scalping to go and break the top, and then you'd be looking for any sell setup. UCAD on the daily. Looking for that Z up. We've got that WXY, X2. We're looking for this Z up. This Z up is very choppy. It's very slow, but we're looking at that 123.6 and then the 161 as your second target. Very difficult to trade. I was looking last week. We had that ball hidden in here. So this can go and break that top. We got the 5 up in here, and that was nice. Then we got this impulse down, and then we got the 1, 2, 3, 4. I dare say this one will be a 5 going, breaking the top. and then we may get a sharp one down for a large correction after these 5 up, and then we get another 5 up to the daily targets. It is giving a little buy in here, like, you know, you're only scalping if you're buying up here, but you could give it a go. Just, you definitely want to be a break even at the break of that top, because like I said, this can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then you get 1, 2, 3 as you're flat running or expanding flat, and then you get another another 5 up. Unfortunately, there really isn't much on it. You know, on the H1, it's very risky to buy. We already have the bearish divergence here, so if you're buying this, you know, keep a tight stop. Yeah, because it can just come break that top, and then give you another one down in here for the A, B, C, and then take off. So yeah, the Swissy on the daily, we had that 3 down, had that 1, 2, 3 down, nice impulse up, and now we're just waiting for 3 down as a correction, and then we can all load up to buy. On the H4, there may be another one up in here. You can see here, to sell, you really only can sell under that low, because we do have a bull hidden, a possible bull hidden. So I'm looking for a WXY X2, and we get that Z up. And I dare say that's what'll happen. But I'm just waiting for buy setups on this as well. I was looking during the week, I still got the count on there. I was looking for an A, B, C in here for a flat, and then you get an A, B, C. Just kept on coming down in here. It doesn't mean that we won't get a structure in there, but it just makes it a little bit more difficult, because this in here is quite choppy. So this still can be an A, B, C in here as some sort of a running or expanding flat before we get another one down to finish off that X2 on the H4, and then we go. We're just waiting for that time factor on the H4. So again, I mean, you can only really buy this. We did lose all the bullish divergence in here. You know, we did lose all that bullish divergence. So I dare say we get a flat in here, and then another one down, finishing off the H4 correction, and then we look for that buy, look for the buy. EG on the daily. Nothing's changed on the daily. We're looking for that A, B, waiting for this wave C to end. And internally here, we have like that 1, 2, 3, 4, looking for a 5th one down, and then any buy setup we get, we can go. H4, well, you can see what I'm looking at. This is a complex correction. We got a nice sharp move up, 3 down breaking the low, and then we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We were looking for this up here, that wave 5. And it's done that now, and we've got the bearish divergence. So any sell setup you get next week, you can definitely look for that sell just to go and break the low, and then you'll be looking for buys. There is no sell setup on it at this stage. More than likely, it'll give another one up in here. More than likely we'll get a bull hidden in here for another one up, then giving us a bearish divergence, and then, you know, any sell setup you get, then you can look for that sell. WTI, we did get a cross down in here. If I zoom in a little bit, I won't go. If you want to look what happened over here, you'll have to go to previous videos. But we did get across down in here. So looking at it A, B, C, like I've been looking at for a very long time, as like we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This has turned into a larger correction than that. But on the H4, we were looking for that wave Z up. It has turned into a larger correction, like I just said. You know, this one is a little bit larger than this, but that's fine. You know, still looking for this. It's very slow, and at this stage, unless you're already in it, you really can't jump into it now, because when you look at the H1, we're getting all this bearish divergence in here. We're getting all this bearish divergence, so you can't really jump in now. Right? This was very difficult to get in because we've got that nice impulse. I was just looking for a correction here to take off after we got that flat. This correction become very deep to this move, so this was quite difficult to get in. It gave you a second opportunity to get in. It's giving you more, but the more of these corrections it gives you, the riskier it gets. You know, we already have that bearish divergence, so if you're not in it already, you pretty well missed the trade. And there's really not much on it. This is looking quite corrective. So that flat may not play out, and this is the impulse correction, and we get an impulse down. At this stage, you can really, because we have that bearish divergence, if you get a sell set up, you could look for a sell. You'd want a nice sharp move down in here, a correction, and then you could look for a sell just to go and break that low. But yeah, really, if you're not in the buy at this stage, you can't really jump into it. Very risky to jump into it, in my opinion. Gold, we're just waiting for that correction. So we got the 3 down in here, and we got that nice impulse. And like I said last week, we're just waiting for a correction before we can buy. It hasn't given us that correction yet, but it will. You have to be patient. So ideally, you know, we've got a nice impulse up on the H4 as well, waiting for a correction, and then we can look for the buy. So this may take, you know, 2-3 weeks. It may take a while, and this wave here may not be over. But again, you know, I wouldn't be go scalping. It becomes very risky to scalp up here. There's no bearish divergence on the H1, but on the lower times M15 that we are getting bearish divergence. So, you know, and if you're selling into a correction, so it can be quite choppy. What I'll be doing is waiting for this correction, and then any buy setup I get, I'll be looking for a buy after I see a complete structure in here on the lower time frame. Well, on the H1, really. You know, as soon as I see a nice correction in here, hopefully back to at least the 50 fib, then I can look for a buy. Silver. This is very similar to gold. You know, we got the 5 up. We got that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3 down. We're getting a nice impulse up. Look for your, wait for your correction, and then you can look for another 5 up, like here. Bitcoin, we got that. I'm still looking at it as the expanding flat, of course. You know, we got that A, B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as a 3, 3, 5 complex correction, or you could look at it as a expanding flat. We got that nice impulse down and just looking for a correction, and I still am just looking for a correction in here. to come down and possibly get down to this low. We want to see this low here broken, and then we can really start loading up on the buys. On the H4, this can be complete. I think I showed you this last week. As a complex correction, we got a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we got a possible 3, 3, 5 complex correction in here. We're just waiting for a nice sell setup to sell to go and break this low. The H1, really looking for a sell. It's not giving a sell though. There's no bearish divergence. More than likely, this will give a correction in here and we'll get a bull hidden. And then another one up in here, and this will turn into some sort of a flat in here. Looking at the price action. So again, if you're selling, and you definitely can sell on the lower time frames, but it may just turn into a C down in here. So yeah, you definitely want to get it to break even. Yeah, and I don't believe there is any setup on it at this stage. Yeah, see, it's a bull hidden on the, it's a bull hidden divergence on the M15 as well. You know, we got a bull hidden there, so I wouldn't be surprised if that top gets broken again. So I dare say this top will get broken again, and then this top here, and then if you get a nice impulse down and then a correction, and you can see the correction complete, well, then you can start to look for the sells. S&P 500 on the daily. Looking for that wave Z up. It started to go and started to correct, and then it fell over on Friday. So we're looking for that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up to these two targets. Looking for that wave Z up to those two targets. Still is possible. We already had the 3 down in here. Like I said last week, we've got to be very careful though, because there is that bear hidden. Like we got that 1, 2, 3 down, but then we had this bear hidden here, and it is coming down and breaking that low. So more than likely, this is like a flat, like an A, a B, and a C up as your flat, and then you get the A, B, C down, which is fine. And then any buy setup we get, then we can start to look for a buy. The thing is with this, you know, if we look on the higher time frames, you know, we're right at the top. If you look at the monthly time frame, you know, we're right at the top. So if you are buying, you have to be extremely careful, because we can get this wave 4 here, the time factor of wave 2 over here, and then we get that wave 5 up. So just take that into consideration. If you are trading this pair, you are buying at a top. You know, even on this daily time frame for that wave Z, you're still buying it at a reasonable top. So you want to wait for a nice setup. Like I said on the H4, I'll just remove these. You know, now I'll be looking at it as a, like, because this low has been broken, or we started to get a very deep correction in here, I'm looking at it as like that A, B, C. AU200. AU200, last week we were looking for that, this low here to be broken. We were looking for that low there to be broken, and it looks like it's finally broken. So that's good. Looking at that A, B, C in here. Once this low is broken, like I said last week, any buy setup you get, you can start to look for a larger A, B, C up. we did have that bear hidden there last week as well. And I did say that more than likely this will come down, break that low, and it has, which is good because we really want it to get, well, break that A wave, the larger A wave. Really wanted to break that, this over here, this low, and it's done that now, so that's great. Any buy setup you get, you can look for the buys. Yeah, you got to really go. I mean, on the lower time frame, I dare say on the M15 and that, like we got like 1, 2, 3. You get a 4, and then you get a 5th one down, and then if you got a nice impulse up, buy setup, correction, and then a buy setup, you could start looking for the buys. The FTSE on the daily. This didn't play out like I was looking at it. Unfortunately, I was looking for that A, B, C. That played out. Then we got that nice impulse up, and it did break the ending point of that. I was sort of looking for an A, B, C in here up to that 100 pip. It started to go, but it didn't get up to that target. So this is extremely difficult now. There is a flat in here, so, and we got that like 1, 2, 3 down in here, and we got a 1, 2. We got a wave 3, but it didn't go up and break that top. So it's a contracting flat at this stage, which is extremely risky. You know, it's a contracting flat for an A, B, C with a contracting flat in the middle. Extremely risky. Didn't give a nice setup. That was a problem. What to do now? Really, you can only sell it. We don't have any bullish divergence in here. You have to wait for a correction before you can sell. So really, you're sitting on the sideline, and you'll be sitting on the sideline for at least a week or more, unless you're scalping on the really lower time frames, and then you're just scalping. The DAX, this one looks like it's finally falling over, which is good. So this one's playing a little bit better. We got that A, B, C as that flat. Before we get an A, B, we're looking for this C down. We've been looking for this C down for a very long time. We had all that bearish divergence, and it just kept on going up. You know, just giving us those higher highs. It's finally fallen over. So I hope everyone that does trade this are on the sell. It was quite difficult. I think last week, yeah, we could only buy. We had that 1, 2, 3. Actually, we had that like 1, 2, 3 here, and the 5th one down. So now we're getting that 5 down. Overall, we are getting the bullish divergence. You really had to be in this last week. I mean, this was your correction in here to sell. Now we're getting bullish divergence on the H1. So you really have to wait for a wave Z. You'd be be looking at it as a wave Y now, and then you'd be waiting for a X2, and then you'd be looking for the wave Z down. So I hope you all enjoyed the weekly outlook. If you did, please hit the like button, share, subscribe. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you out there next week.